No, from last week. Chris will be added to the squad. The rest of the squad, I think we had 20 last week, so 21 this week. 19 outfield, 2 goalkeepers, so no changes in the squad.
Chris, what did you see last week? How did you feel watching it? What do you think you can add to it?
Kind of seen what I expected. You're going into European ties. Polka wasn't any different. Shells are a very good team. They're very much a solid team together. But I thought our boys represented. Away legs in Europe are very difficult fixtures, and given the experience I have myself, some of my best away defeats. So nothing changes for us tomorrow in the mindset and trying to go and win the game, because we know now what at home to go and win the game.
Thanks, Chris. Just following on what Chris said, David. Obviously happy with it. Not that you'll be happy with the defeat ever, but
I wouldn't say ever happy. With the way the draw worked out in terms of fitness, we had to give up something last week. We worked information on board. We wanted to sort of give up a little bit in wide areas, which we did. The boys we've talked about and worked through some of the other little bits that we can improve on. Something that we've touched on over the last number of days since we've been training. Possession. We can't slap in possession when we do land on the ball. What we had last week, it looked as if at times we done all the hard work without the ball last week. We were probably giving it away, probably cheaply. We didn't have the ball and create the opportunities. But one thing I will say is work. These players believe there's an opportunity. But when we look back, even the game last year, we give ourselves, and we should. I thought we were very good against Shelbourne last year, and we ultimately lost the goal late on. We beat Vlasnia from I think 3-1 scoring on the night. So these boys believe there's through some of the highs and lows of the European. Big open pitch. Shelbourne will enjoy the pitch. Listen to Joey, and again there are players who can handle the ball in tight situations. We understand that. So it's going to be a big challenge. We're still probably, we believe, with even if we had a draw last week, lose the game, which I don't think we saw the loss of the game and the scoreline. And these players have worked hard. One thing I have said in the dressing room is 3.5, 4 weeks. And the work that they've done. It's all the sacrifices they made last year. In terms of what we had to deal with as a group of players. The sacrifices and everything else that went alongside that last year. So in the pre-season and the new season, because the domestic season will start in August. That's for trophies, etc. and whatever else, but they put 42 weeks tears along the way with what we achieved. So I did describe after the game the other night that one thing that we wouldn't do or won't do at a very early stage, we'll put a little bit more pressure on, of course, but you don't want to waste a tie within the first 15 or 20 minutes. minutes this week.
Fitness and match fitness, you alluded to it there, David. Flying. I thought there were signs. Can you make that up in a week?
I think you can. I watched both games back on BBC, the commentary and the RTE commentary. You know, there's a strong belief that certainly Shelbourne should be coming. They may, hopefully they don't. We will have our opportunity tomorrow night. Again, we'll probably change one or two things before we finish training today. All teams have strengths. Shelbourne's strength is, I think our strengths weren't shown last week. That's what we'll look to do tomorrow night. The pitches have been criticised at times for being honest about the pitch. They'll train tonight. They'll be excited by training on the pitch today, and we look forward to hopefully having that. Basically, have enough possession last week to go and hurt. Another week's training, haven't had a look at Shelbourne. Strong support behind us. The players are better, but I see a much improved performance in us again tomorrow night.
Chris, a lot of the Shelbourne players want to play the Windsor Park before.
Not just Gano and Dickey, I think that have played in here. They played with myself until, and they're looking forward to it because they remember it fondly. And that was in November. With the time here, but no, they're looking forward to it, and I'm sure. Kind of said that to the lads in the squad that they should relish it, but you know, in a false way that they think they're going to come up here and shoot around because the pitch is bigger. I think just the setup of the game. You know, we expect a big crowd, and O'Shells will bring a big enough into the next round of the Champions League, which is absolutely huge for both in Europe. So the game is set up to be an absolute cracker. They're coming out.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that some of your best results have been 1-0. What's the mindset going in? Or like, I think Batley or something.
That'd be 90-minute batter and you come out 1-0, and that was far worse than, you know, watch out. Just an nostalgia belief given to two-legged tie. You know, the defeat can be easily turned around, and our lads believe that there was no. For the past week, it was very much get back on the horse and get the result we need. And that is to get on with it. Not like Grant David said, you're not happy losing the game. Especially in the Champions League fixtures, you've seen much worse defeats. Momentum early in the game, like David said, not going gun-ho, and 15 minutes, that's no use to anyone, so it's just about us and how we manage.
David, you won some huge games, but I was thinking, you know, this probably is, would you, will face, I mean, it's very good, League of Ireland champions, and it's trying to beat them over 2 legs as well, and huge champions. Would it be right up there with, you know, a lot of what?
And one thing that I think both clubs have done really well, and certainly we're not getting into the North v South v South was something we never ever wanted to get involved in. In terms of where it would stand for me, never ever look mid-term, long-term in the job that I'm in here. I can sometimes disrupt a poor game, and then all of a sudden you're behind the 8 ball. I get a little bit edgy. So for me, these boys, just go and perform, go and do what I know that they can do. More so on the front foot tomorrow night, and it will be. I already mentioned there, and it's a big word, momentum, especially in the second leg. The Glasgow game, we should have won the game 4-5. And all of a sudden, a poor team who we played here, in my opinion, tie, all of a sudden become 3-4 yards. They're in their own environment, their comfortable environment, and all of a sudden, in a game we probably got away with it, sort of later on in the game we were hanging on a little bit. But as I said, we underperformed in terms of having the ball last week. But if we're better on the ball tomorrow night with the players involved, we're not decided whether we're starting yet or not, but we have possession tomorrow night, and alongside that, brilliant if we did score in the first 10-15 minutes, and then I think the most important thing is that we build into the game if the momentum's there. Right? This place, the electricity around the place, the energy becomes important, because then the players should be fueled by the belief.
It's going to be a very different atmosphere in this game as well.
I think it'll be a good. Huge respect, Shelbourne, brilliant club. For a club like Shelbourne, where they've been over the last 2021, and then winning the first league title in 18 years. Maybe a little bit of here just turn us over and go through. I don't think Joey and the players will be. The momentum, the belief that we maybe have here, so it's important to play the game in that manner, that let them know that we still.
Do you pay any attention to all the commentary around the north-south dimension? Or do you see a bigger picture because you'd be aware of all that?
Not really, we never kind of get into the ideology of this as a north versus south. We've approached it, and the team have approached it as a European fix. Kind of get distracted from what's at hand. It's much bigger than the qualification game, and have you drawn Inter-Scala from League of Ireland. That's the way we've approached it, and the implications for winning this round is far bigger than so no, we've only ever taken it as a European fixture.
In terms of, you talked about, for this one, is there more of a sense of attacking it because there is a deficit? Because
we're going to be on the bit more. But again, as I stated, is waste 95 minutes of real hard graft. If we score early, great. We're better than what we were last week. We're the home team. We should. The respect, and again, I listen to Joe. They sort of play. They want to dominate the ball, so it's important that we get the ball in the middle of the pitch and maybe a little bit deeper, which is fine if we're. But we're not going to chasing things and leaving gaps and leaving. We will.
Have you been given Kieran Offord lots of videos of Shane Lowry?
We've not discussed any. Shields previous games. Say I'm coming into a press conference here. Successful European tour. Dog, and since he's been here, I know there's been one or two negative results. Obviously, we've enjoyed some really good performance. I think we beat them 4-0 here, which the champions of Bosnia. The champions in Norway, Bodo Glint, albeit in the second leg we record here, and I would have no doubt that Shells have gone to Windsor Park and the wouldn't say daunting, but they'll be certainly aware of the record that we have at home. It's important that we start on the front foot.
It's no secret that penalties have been. You put a bit of extra practice in, or do you not believe that makes much of a difference?
And we'll answer it on a personal level. For me, on performance in the game, I didn't need to night, but the players, we practice. There's others in the dressing room who will automatically just stay out for 4 or 5 minutes maybe after, and we take 6 the practice. But as a group, again, you can do a lot of work. I know the goalkeepers and us as staff, Shelbourne in the areas that they put it in, but again, you can reverse it into a different corner, and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, not to say that it's pushed onto the players, because it's important that the players, they're the ones who take situations change where you just have to give 1 to 5. Saying that was the sort of the standard order that players, even the Gannon game, but there was no sort of your first, your third, your fourth, your fifth. Go fourth, maybe all of a sudden somebody scores in front of you. Hopefully it doesn't come to penalties more. Going through and the level of finance and the important a poor decision, again, early referee, which
Just the answer to that, on a personal level, personally as well, 500. That's the moment for you, David. Obviously, ideally, it ends in a. Don't sound too surprised.
No, sometimes you guys. Level to manage, I think, is a milestone, certainly this football club. Basically, probably nobody knows football to play, to represent, and again, as a young kid in Linfield, being your local club, privilege and the pleasure to manage the football club. 12 or 13, not about dreaming of playing in the Premier League. I don't think I ever dreamed of managing Linfield, certainly for 500. Incredible journey. I've had the privilege of having full seasons, basically coming up to 10 years here. This is my 10th. And I've been lucky to have, Chris has sat here. Your Staffords, your Hockeys, Andy Waterworths. I've had the pleasure of my life overseeing. Basically, that's what I do as a manager here. I oversee the dressing room where I let them manage situations. Experienced group of players where I trust these, so 500 as well, and family here. Hopefully it's a big night, hopefully it's, and then we can look forward to the next 500.
Sometimes in football we talk about what it means to get the next rounds, but what it means to him to be here and to be on game number 500, I'm sure. Giving your manager a milestone match to remember?
I am mate.
Obviously, it would be kind of the cherry on top of the cake. For to have that on his 500 appearance, obviously, it would be extra special. It's probably one of the most, not say thankless, but would you know the magnitude of trying to manage Linfield in the south? Like I have, is you see it firsthand, and it's moved off 1-0 up in Windsor Park before in the league. It's a real cauldron, it's a hotbed of football, and it's a job that I know David enjoys doing, and everything he does for the club. What's the best possible chance in the league up here, and he does it. So it would be nice to give him that extra special night.
Thank you.
David, the last week's match with Danny,
I think it did pan out in terms of the way we expected. Being in the tie, staying in the tie, and that was the most important thing. Ball and level of possession that they had, I think that was again, the year before we probably, when we gave them way too much respect, really behind the game. Getting here, we got ourselves back into the game. Second goal for Shields would have the attitude and speaking to the players morning and way back and over the last number of days. us. No doubt we will be better on the ball, and we'll make sure we'll give us hopefully maximum opportunity to be better. We'll do that.
That must have been very pleasing that for all possession Shields had.
He had a few. I know Chris Jones made a good save from off the back of, I think it would come very quickly. Again, one of the positives that we dealt with last week. Apart from that one, Shields can hurt you in many different areas. Do they play with Boyd and come on and a day influence? Back potentially. I know Mark Coyle played in a natural position. He played there against Cork 4 or 5 days pre. Trainer. I think he's actually willing. Last
11. I think
11, which again, for he has European experience. A number of years ago, I knew Gannon was at the talk at the time, not Shields.
You think the hands you get some?
In the season, we kept sort of thinking maybe next year. But you always sort of like, so it'll be interesting to see if Sean starts.
I was now.
Since you're talking about that experience, obviously you're so. How key will that be for tomorrow night, especially with younger players with you?
Yeah. Jamie and Cork being the three oldest, you look around the squad, like, he's not a lot of the European experience, like Ethan McGee, but those lads, we kind of know what it's about, but sometimes you can't get involved, and some of our young lads have no fear, which it could be a benefactor of them, just fortunate players. Matty Orr's first involvement for us last year was not often you see that, so it is good to have the lads, the boys being unafraid of the unknown, and their young lads are able to do that.
Dave McCulloch and Josh Archer.
As you get out, you get more groove.
So yeah, younger players stepping in, and they're an integral part of the team. Even so young last week, which again, you could. I know we were missing Shieldsy and Alex Kymackley. We were short last week, was probably in the midfield area. Being involved for tomorrow night.
Cheers,
Well, as a European spectacle last week, enjoy it. What did you think of the sense that there's increased professionalism, there's a sense of progress? Irish football in both leagues.
I'll talk about Linfield. The last number of years, again, when we did make the decision, probably took us a little bit of time. Couldn't commit to what we really wanted. So, and I think over the gradual gradual, the short term going forward over the next couple of years is going to continue to improve. It's a different calibre of player, but a different player with a different mindset. Where it's an easy one to come into the environment, where a player can come with or have maybe a part-time mentality. Player, so it's something that we've adapted as a club. And again, in terms of what individual clubs do, because I don't see the standard of the league, in my opinion.
Like compared to 10 years ago.
Compared to 10 years ago, and again, 10 years probably going down to the majority of games in the last 10 years. I think it's been very well advertised. You see whatever game that I go to now down in Ireland. Similar ones that we do go to is Drogheda. Again, you go to Drogheda, and it used to be great when I was Drogheda and Dundalk, because I can choose which sort of Dublin teams that you wanted to see without even travelling. Huge improvement, and that's considered. Push back to the group stages, Shields' team getting to the group stage. A team and a squad that Steve Bradley has. It's, you know, you pay for what you get in terms of this. Shamrock Rovers is maybe our players who don't make the squads. I think they'd give the squad. So the improvements is there, you can clearly see it. Again, speaking to anybody who plays, it's been greatly improved over the last month.
Do you see a progression?
And I think it was quite evident, like straight after COVID, I think really grew. I think people being starved of local football. I think supporters that this is on our doorstep. We should be getting out more. After COVID in 2021, so I see, you know, the league here started to really grow momentum. Full-time teams in the league, which is only ever going to benefit your league. Ireland is, but that's only this year as a full. That's what you want, especially for the likes of the next generation. Just more so in my time at Linfield, the conveyor belt of players that they produce, and I think that stems down. Yeah, I've not seen ever before some of the standard of young fellas, you know. With Doc Devlin, and I was so surprised by the standard of play. When I was at Dundalk, because I was living up here in Bangor, I didn't really see much. But here, from the top down, you know, the job that people is an absolute credit, and it is starting. You can see it again in other clubs. Players getting chances, and I think that stems from the professionalism of the.
With the big crowd tomorrow night, and with last week being sold out, did you looking at it and thinking this is a good advert for Irish football?
Been able to take more fans.
Yeah.
We would have had double, if not capacity at Talbot Park, which I'm sure Shelbourne will find. the health and safety anyway. If your hands are bound, but go right up to the back of the roof, and then visual spectacle, the noise because of the way the lines are taken away from the wall, so the fans weren't actually right. In fixture goes, it was lively, it was atmospheric, Something you'd be thinking it's brilliant, and we had that on display. Just so special now.
I think they just finished. I know there's one or two probably minor that will certainly be urging their supporters to come support us and the correct Linfield way.
Thank you.
No, with next week in mind.
Gary Eccles started doing that.
I was saying, Gary, it's going to be a hard one because, again, looking at it, I have looked at the possibilities. They was in and around when we played them, but without getting ahead of ourselves. The other possibles, without going in. If we were fortunate, based on not getting a good look, one or two to trouble the Azerbaijan, to sort of these are Lithuanian teams, even if a game at the weekend, but our work through our little bits. It's always funny because a message from some Lithuanian scout living out there, and you actually don't realise, and then all of a sudden you find information on the team. But as it stands at the minute, we've not done. The ideal one is hopefully that we're going into the Karabakh game and looking at the possible against Karabakh.
When you rewatch,
Not getting into the north. Now you asked me. Darren Murphy done the BBC stuff, and Darren's a good friend of mine, so the coverage was very good on both sides actually. Certainly the RT. The games, etc. Ex-Shells players and whatever else. Very professional in their performance.
If I can ask you one before you go, talk about the advantage, the Windsor effect. To win. For that, you only go.
I didn't say we were all like. I said we're going to build into it, keep ourselves in the game. The hard work and the shift that we put in last week.
Indeed, but the
Yes.
okay, and I'm just thinking, we've talked before about the last week. I'm just thinking, you're fully secure, you're happy. We're talking about Sean Gannon and Chris Shields at Dundalk. Pat Hoban was in the market there, but
There's a question in there somewhere.
I didn't feel the need to dip to plunge the market for it.
I'm sure Shields doesn't need to answer again. Pat's record. So many occasions pop up with Windy and Torn and Paddy. I don't get the question. question that you're asking me here. So there is a so you're asking me, were we interested? Were we not interested in Pat?
Well, I'd love you to answer that.
We done our business. We made our business plain. It wasn't the position that we were looking. It wasn't the player that we were looking for. At this window, I can certainly. I think we made a small-ish bid right time, which was not bad. But good luck to Pat. That's.
I'm happy enough that he's not here.